Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. And yes, welcome back to day 2 of our TTG Sustainability Festival 2025 in association with EasyJet Holidays. We had an absolutely fantastic day yesterday as we kicked the festival off in earnest, and we heard from our headline partner, EasyJet Holidays, discussing the manageable, impactful changes that agents can make to boost awareness of sustainability and engagement in their business. That was with Joe from Travel Counsellors and Jennifer at Barhead. And we also heard from Scott at EasyJet Holidays, Hazel and Intrepid, and they were speaking to Pippa all about how to choose responsible suppliers and the right questions you should be asking your supply chain to find out about their sustainability credentials. This morning, we have another fantastic discussion for you to sink your teeth into, and we'll be talking all about destinations. But before we begin that, don't forget the brilliant prize we have on offer this week. And to be in with a chance of winning that 5-night holiday to Rhodes with EasyJet Holiday, make sure you attend as many sessions as you can this week. And the more sessions you attend, the more engaged you are, the more chance you have of winning. So just a little kind of motivation there for you as well, which is nice throughout the week. But yeah, it's wonderful to see so many of you here with us this morning and signed up throughout the week, which is brilliant. Now, it's time to hear all about the good work being done in destinations and how collaboration is key when it comes to balancing the needs of the tourism industry, of travellers, local communities, and the environment, and how agents can gain a deeper understanding of how to communicate that to their customers. So, without further ado, I am delighted to be joined by Ashton McLaughlin, Business Development Director, UK and Ireland at Iberostar, and Megan Parkinson, Head of Sustainability and Impact at the Latin America Travel Association. Ash, Megan, how are you both? You've appeared here, which is wonderful to see you. How are you both? You both well?
Great, thanks. Thanks for inviting us.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here. And I just wanted to kick off the session. I know people watching probably know both organisations well, but just to give a flavour of people maybe who don't, Ash, potentially, would you mind just giving a quick explainer about Iberostar, kind of the areas you operate in, and the huge amount of work you're doing on sustainability and with local communities in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be a pleasure. Thanks, Tom. So really pleased to be here with you all. I love this event. Done it the last couple of years with you guys, and it's a great way to kind of spread the good word, if you like. So as you mentioned, Tom, I represent Iberostar Hotels and Resorts. We have over 100 properties all around the world, and including areas, obviously the Spanish regions. We're owned by a Mallorquin family, the Fluchal family. So we've got the mainland, the Canary Islands, the Balearic Islands. We also have some destinations in North Africa, Eastern Mediterranean, and then further afield to the Caribbean and South America as well. So we're very spread out. We've got a lovely range of hotels, and we do our job, myself and my team of BDMs. There's 3 of us in the team here in the UK and the Ireland team. We actually, talk about our product with our travel agent partners, tour operator partners. But also I found over the last few years, we spend just as much time also talking about our wave of change movement, which is our sustainability movement. And we launched that in 2017. So, there's a lot going on. And I'm really proud of that, actually. So we spend a lot of time talking about all the good work that we do, all the different action lines, and hopefully inspiring our travel agent partners to also inspire their customers as well.
Fantastic, and we will definitely get into some of that stuff in a moment, Ash. Thank you. And Megan, a similar question to yourself for anyone that doesn't know LATA and what you do, because I know you've been on a real sustainability journey over the last few years as well, and there's some great work being done in the region as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, basically, LATA is a membership organisation, and we bring together tour operators, travel agents, airlines, hotels, and destinations to responsibly promote tourism to the region. Our mission really is to sort of foster travel that benefits local communities, protects the environment, and delivers meaningful experiences to visitors. Because ultimately, I feel as though the more the more people travel in a sustainable way, it's more enriching. It gives the clients a better experience. So we're working really closely with our members to implement best practice. We started our sustainability program about 3 years ago, where we're really helping our members to embed sustainability into their daily businesses and working with the destinations on their sort of best practices and guidelines. What we really want to do is to sort of advocate responsible tourism and highlight Latin America as a destination that really values cultural and environmental sustainability.
That's wonderful. Thank you both. That's really useful for people who are listening in. And yeah, just to say, if anyone has any questions for Ash and Megan, please just drop them in the chat box, and I can put them to them. So thanks very much. I wanted to begin by kind of asking, how difficult is it to balance the needs of travellers, of the tourism industry? Obviously that needs to grow. Travellers need to come into destinations as well, but also with local communities and environments. Megan, for instance, maybe if we just stay with you, what kind of examples do you have at LATA where some good success stories that you've been working on in recent times to kind of get all of those pieces aligned? Because collaboration is really a big part of it, isn't it, I think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even within our membership, collaboration has been a huge part of what we've been doing, and really, it's really central to our sustainability strategy, because we feel this sort of peer-to-peer sharing knowledge is the best way to move things forward. But increasingly, we're really seeing that at destination level, the destinations are really sort of starting to recognise sustainable, particularly community tourism, as a way of sort of really driving sort of sustainable development. I mean, if we look at someone like Costa Rica, for example, I'm sure that a lot of people know about Costa Rica, but they're a real shining light in sustainability, because they've really sort of brought in sustainability measures at top down level, really. So there's a great infrastructure that's really supporting sustainability throughout the whole value chain. They've brought in their own certification that's backed by the GSTC. So that's really starting to move the dial within the country, and you can really see that when you travel there. But increasingly, we're seeing that these sort of practices where governments are really supporting community tourism, because ultimately Latin America is a destination that's really recognised for community tourism. It's actually fundamental to that cultural experience. So they're really recognising that, and it's a way of not only spreading that tourism pound around the country, but really bringing in measures that are destination stewardship, infrastructure, etc. So people are really waking up to that. We're seeing examples of it in Colombia, where they're doing lots of research around how nature tourism is having a massive effect on conservation. In Ecuador, they're bringing in guidelines to protect the Galapagos. They're also really, really promoting cultural and community tourism all over the country. There's so many examples now where basically the destinations are really starting to recognise the need for it and the benefits that actual tourism has to the communities, and also to the economy. So yeah, there's been a real shift, and I don't know, in Latin America, it almost feels like it was already there anyway, that people really want to do tourism well. That's it's really embedded in the nature of tourism out there. So now, although there is work to be done in ensuring that best practice ensues, I think Latin America really is in really good position to really sort of excel in the world of sustainable tourism.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some wonderful examples there across the region of stuff going on, sort of big government level and kind of
absolutely. There's some great stuff happening at private sector level as well, but I think that we've really seen that when the governments come in and that infrastructure starts to really deliver massive change.
No, that's fantastic. And Ash, obviously, Iberostar, as you said, has been leading the way. I think it's absolutely critical for in the hotel and resort space for a number of years, and with the resorts very much being destinations in their own right now. I think have been for years, a big important part of people's holiday and their mindset and the way that they kind of decide what they want to do when they get into destinations. Have you had any kind of recent sort of new innovations or new sort of success stories or things that the agents might want to sort of know about recently that you've been able to sort of share, because doing some fantastic work?
Yeah, there's so many examples really of collaborations, because that's what it's all about. Last year, because we're constantly adapting the wave of change initiative, the way we look at it, and our focus areas. So last year we actually launched our new 7 focus areas, and one of them in particular, we include their going circular, ocean love, and they all kind of encompass all of our various different action lines that take care of all the different aspects. But one of them is actually growing together, and that's focused on exactly this, all the collaborations, working together, and how we can balance the needs of the customers, which is very important. We're a business in the long run. You have to take that into account and make sure the customers are happy. but also the environment and the local community. So that's focused on that key area, and it's a huge part of it. And being a family-run company, that's their ethos anyway. It's all about working together, which is really important. So yeah, I kind of thinking about the various different projects. We've actually got a project in Tunisia, which is quite a new one over the last year or so. It's Collage des Hoteliers, and basically it's a collection of hoteliers working together, but with the local authorities. I think that's really important what Megan said. When you get the governmental bodies, the local authorities, the associations involved, that's when you can really do huge, have such a huge impact. So we work with them in creating a positive destination. Tourism is creating a positive aspect in the community there. We also work with local community projects. For example, in Morocco, we work with a group of local women. They come into our hotels, we invite them in, they create an argan oil experience for the customers. So one, it's empowering these women, it's creating a stable income for them. We also work on education classes with them and various different aspects in their communities. But obviously they get the income from these providing these experiences to the clients. The clients are benefiting as well because they're getting this lovely local experience. Our Coral Lab, which I love in Dominican Republic, that's a scientific working lab. There you can see it. They're creating amazing results in combating the reef degradation that we have in the Caribbean waters over there. It's all about the reef restoration work there. But clients can actually go and visit the Coral Lab. We have thousands of people through the doors of the lab every year. And that's just continuing. And we take the kids from Star Camp there as well. So it's, also kind of enriching the young ones as well, the little ones, so they can spread the word. They're the best ones to do that, aren't they? So there's so many. I could sit here all day really talking about the different projects because it's so inspiring that all these works are going on. But that's literally what it's all about, working together. We can't do it on our own. Iberostar, we're really kind of, the wave of change. It's a drop in the ocean, if you like, what we can do. But working together, we can achieve huge results. And that's the way to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, wonderful. And we'll kind of talk more about that collaboration in a second. But I just wanted to kind of jump in and ask, have you seen a change in consumer mindsets and guests and kind of when they come, because of the work that Iberostar's been doing, or when they come to visit you, or the reason they're booking you in the first place maybe, and we'll talk about kind of the good work that agents can do on that in a moment, but have you seen a sort of a change in the years that you've kind of put in place the wave of change with how consumers are approaching sustainability and thinking maybe it's not just potentially about one thing, but it is about the kind of the holistic community, positive impact?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the aims of the wave of change. It's that we want people to actually consciously book because they want to choose the right supplier. That's the idea behind it, eventually. And we will one day get to that point. It takes time. You have to spread the word. You have to inspire people. I think it is working. We've definitely seen a shift in that. And we speak to our customers regularly about that. And they really appreciate it. And when you speak to customers, or actually even our travel agent partners, the amount of times I've had a conversation with a travel agent, it's either themselves about their own visits to Iberostar properties or their customers where they won't have booked because of that. The sustainability initiatives going on, they're not consciously booking because of that, but they'll get there and they'll come back with stories about how impressed they were, how they loved being in a single-use plastic-free environment. Edible straws is always a really easy thing that they all come back raving about, and talking about. And it's that feel-good factor. They learn, they go and visit the Coral Lab. They learn about the mangroves work that's going on. They see all of this taking place in the hotels because all our customers can see it on a daily basis all the time surrounding them. So they come back with that feel-good factor and they then talk about it, which I think is really important. But obviously we still got some work to do, and we still need to, hopefully help clients actually make that booking because of that reason and because they want to do the right thing and travel responsibly. And, so we've still got a bit of work there, but I think we're getting there. And and there's been over the past few years, absolute shift in their mindset. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. And Megan, a similar question in terms of LATA members. I know you do sort of consumer research and you look at kind of the type of customers who are coming to the region. And have you seen that that change. And like Ash said, maybe not necessarily initially that's why they're coming, but afterwards maybe, and kind of why they might come again, or kind of why they might be a positive.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a hard one, because I think we're all in a position where there are clients who are going, when they book a holiday, they're not saying I want a sustainable holiday. Now, I question whether people ever will use that terminology. I think it's an internal industry term. I think that really what we see is, Iberostar is an amazing example of how to do this, in this whole idea of actually really delivering and promoting that positive impact that clients can have. And what we see is where our members that have really embedded it into their sort of their operations, where people are seeing the real positives of engaging with authentic cultural experiences, or seeing a local guide, or going to like pristine rainforest that's being protected. Again, they're really thinking about plastics, etc. Then it really enhances their experience, and then that in turn, when they come back, means that they then want to book a similar holiday in the future. So I think that is a pattern. And we can also see that, businesses, when you see people like Intrepid, GA Ventures, who've really, really embedded it into their business model, they're seeing great success. So, we really are seeing that trend emerging. But I think we need to look at it in a slightly different way, because I don't think, people aren't going to go, oh, I want to go and book a holiday that has no single-use plastic, because it's just not part of what people think of when they're booking a holiday. And ultimately, a holiday is an indulgence. Actually, when we go on holiday, we want to eat what we want to go out when we want. We don't want to think about recycling. Nobody wants to think about that when they're on a holiday. But, when they're going to have an amazing experience, and they see great conservation work and come back raving about it, and they actually recognise the fragility of the planet, and they want to travel differently, that's the sweet spot where we start to make change, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's really, really well put. And sort of obviously moving on now to, how agents can really make a difference in this, and really do their part. Kind of how, Ash, do you think that are some of the easy ways maybe that agents can speak to their customers about the good work going on? I think, like Megan said, the fact that people aren't walking in and say, right, I want a plastic free, I want this holiday. How, is it kind of baking it in and almost sustainability by stealth? I know sometimes people use that word, but is it kind of doing that and making them see the positive and the benefit before kind of the carbon reduction and kind of the facts and stats and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think we have to remember that clients are coming to travel agents to book a holiday, to book a really nice, relaxing experience, and to enjoy themselves and forget all their worries, forget all their kind of daily hard life that we lead. They just want to go off and relax. And I think that that's what agents have to convey to their customers, but also bringing to life all the great work that's going on. So in a way, we came up with our new marketing campaign, if you like, last year, and it's called You Do You. And that is exactly that. So when Megan was saying that just then, people just want to go off and relax and still enjoy their holidays. They're not going to book because it's single-use plastic-free environment, So we bring that to life in our You Do You campaign, and it's actually real people that are enjoying themselves on holiday, and they're enjoying themselves, whether it's by the pool, on the beach, enjoying one of their fitness classes, etc. But then we're taking care of everything else from that aspect, from looking after the environment and all these other key aspects of the Wave of Change movement, and it's bringing that to life. So it's like you do you, whilst Iberostar takes care of everything else. But by booking Iberostar, you're allowing us to do that. You're supporting us in helping these local communities and in all of the, becoming a waste-free environment, improving the environmental areas in the destinations where we are around the world, because all of that business that these customers are giving us, we can then plough that back into all of these action lines. So that's kind of bringing it to life. And I would say to travel agents is, convey that to your clients. Maybe not hit them at the beginning with these key messages and all this scientific data and all this kind of really difficult information. It's complicated. It's sustainability. It's an in-depth project to talk about. So actually speak to them in a way that they can understand you, where they can still relax and enjoy their holiday, but then bringing in what they can do to what they're doing by enjoying that holiday, the good work that they're doing as well.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. And actually, Megan, I was going to ask a sort of similar question to get your advice as well. We've had a question through from Joe, which kind of relates to some of the stuff you said earlier. It said, "Does LATA have a website that publishes work that members are doing, so we can give examples when working with customers?" I know a lot of your education and training stuff is open access, isn't it? So you're able to
Yeah,
agents.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, just to sort, I think, I really agree with everything Ash has said. I think it's about sustainability being baked in, and it's about really conveying those messages and those positive, those positive news stories. And absolutely, we do. Our program is we do a series of webinars. We do a webinar every month, and that is open source. We do sustainability in action every quarter, which is inspiring stories from across the membership, which is a great way to really see what's happening on the ground. We also dig into sort of more heavier issues around sort of legislation and best practice. And then we've also done quite a few deep dives into sort of things like child protection and biodiversity, etc. So that is open source and available to everybody. So if people want to sort of become more informed, then absolutely we can share that. And we are, as we grow the sustainability program, we are going to be doing more and more with agents. So watch this space on that.
Fantastic. And yeah, actually, it's a similar question, I guess, that the training that agents can do if they want to find out more. Obviously, you've got your session on Friday as well. I know part of the festival, but
Yeah.
away from that, kind of what else can agents kind of get their teeth into if they want to find out more?
Yeah, so we've got our OTT training. So we've got a section on the wave of change, so they can actually carry out their online travel training as well, to learn a bit more about the movement. We have our travel agent site. It's iberostaragents.com. Now on there, actually, you can access our You Do You video content, all this marketing content. So they can actually bring that. It's customer facing, so they can actually use that. So we've got some really cute videos. It could be little Lily on the beach enjoying herself, and then there's a sustainability message whilst Iberostar's taking care of everything else, and it will have a sustainability message in there. Or little Ollie by the pool, and there's really cute videos that really bring to life these messages, and agents can use them. They're, short snippets, short videos, great for social media, great for your websites. We also have lots of other video content. We're really good at that. Luckily, we've got a great team there in our marketing team that put together these wonderful videos and images to bring the sustainability messages to life, because it's not easy sometimes. And I get it from an agent's point of view. They need our support with that, because it is quite a complicated subject. So we need to make it as simple for them to then communicate to their customers, and that's what we try to do. So I would say, not just with Iberostar as well, for agents, with all the suppliers they're working with, more and more suppliers now are bringing their sustainability messages to life. So use all that content, use all the training that you can get, rely on us, lean on us to help you with that with that part.
Brilliant. And I can see that we've actually put some of the links to the stuff that you were saying about that Ash show in the chat there, so people can see. And yeah, if anyone else had any other questions before we finish, please feel free to drop those in. And I wanted to kind of also ask your advice, you would give to an agent, that have clients who want to know about the positive impact in destination. Kind of if they're saying, what maybe a couple of things could an agent advise their customer to do any place they visit, really? It doesn't matter sort of what part of the world, kind of to be a really positive traveler and to have that positive impact in destination. Megan, what are kind of the things that maybe you would suggest to agents who potentially maybe don't kind of know too much about sustainability or sort of dipping their toe in, but maybe some easy wins or some things that they can just suggest that their customer does when they go away that can have a good impact?
Yeah, I think as an agency, I think, working with their suppliers, I think that looking at, understanding how the local communities benefit from their travel. So, it's are sort of excursions led by the local communities? Are you getting an authentic experience? Is funding going into the local communities? Looking at their policies around welfare of their staff, welfare of wildlife. There's all sorts of things like that they can do. I mean, things that that Ash said around sort of getting involved in things like citizen science projects are incredible. I mean, they are. I mean, I can't advocate citizen science enough. There's some incredible work going on in Antarctica, and we're actually working with the Galapagos National Park at the moment to implement them. And I think really people actually seeing firsthand and helping with that science. And it's again that collaboration piece, and seeing how children react to that. So those sort of pieces are, if they can find, there's loads of brilliant operators do it. People like Exodus do some amazing citizen science. A lot of the cruise operators, Hurtigruten, there's loads of different people that are doing this, where people are really engaging with sustainability on the ground. And I feel like that has such, the stories that come back out of those experiences really sort of change the way people travel.
Fantastic. And Ash, what would you advise? Actually, we've had a comment in about the edible straws. Nicola says she loves Iberostar hotels and those are edible straws. So we have an edible straws fan. I'm sure there are probably many others as well. But yeah, that was some fantastic points from Megan there. And what would your advice be to kind of, you don't have to kind of, move mountains, but you can do a couple of things to kind of, have that positive impact?
You can. I think definitely, engaging with the local communities. If you're booking an excursion, have a look at what excursions you're booking, because you can speak to the people there that you're making the bookings with. They'll guide you to sustainable options, or where you're supporting the local communities. So that could be an easy one. But also, even just when you're in the hotels, for example, we're really focused on waste in our properties. That's a huge part of one of our action lines. And things like make sure you recycle whatever you can. Again, you should have all the recycling bins that they should all be set up in. They definitely are in Iberostar hotels, and I know they are in a lot of other properties as well. So make sure you're kind of doing your bit with throwing the waste away and hopefully have less waste, but also in the restaurants as well. Our restaurants have over the last few years, and actually COVID helped this, where we couldn't, in our buffet restaurants during COVID, we had to keep everything very separate, small portions, individual portions, things like that. And we've actually kept a lot of those kind of, ways of working in our restaurants, and also doing a lot of fresh cooking, show cooking, if you like. So it's on demand, really, rather than having lots of food waste there in our buffet restaurants and just going to waste. And we've reduced our food waste tremendously. And we also work with a great system called Winnow in our kitchens to look after all the food waste. It's artificial intelligence. It is very intelligent. It's amazing what they're doing. But yeah, just be aware, be conscious of your food waste. I know you're on holiday. Enjoy yourselves, eat everything, eat all you want, but just keep on your plates, just put what you want. And if you want more, go back for more, but don't pile your food, your plates full of food that you'll end up throwing in the bin. It's just small things like that you can actually do in the hotels yourselves.
Yeah, see, and that's something that everyone can relate to, can't they, really? And the fact that definitely agents aren't sort of wrapping their clients on the knuckles and telling them not to be too greedy. But no, it is an easy thing that people can do and can make that positive change. That's fantastic. Thanks, guys. And Annika says actually that she's seen that in action in the Iberostar kitchens.
Yes.
And it's very clever technology. So it's wonderful. Yeah, that sounds really good. And just before we finish, guys, I just wanted to get just from each of you maybe something that's coming up on sustainability in your organisations that you're kind of working on, maybe, or things that agents should know about. Megan, I know you've got a really interesting mentor and mentee program that you've been working on at LATA as well, and that sounds really interesting that people want to know about, because it's a really kind of great program.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually launching it this week, and basically our sustainability program started about 3 years ago, and we've been doing online training and helping businesses put together a sustainability strategy so that they can embed it into their businesses. And what's been so amazing about that, and what's been really key to the success of our program, is this sort of peer-to-peer learning and shared knowledge, because everyone's in it together. And actually, the more we work together, the more we engage together, the more we can do. The impact you can have as one company compared to what you can as a group of companies is hugely different. And everyone's at different stages. So what we've decided to do is launch what our sustainability mentor program. and we're launching this week so we're starting with 8 mentors, and then we'll build that out. We'll build that out over the year, and really, it's sort of to give companies, particularly small companies, where there's usually one person who's thinking about sustainability and they're really trying to fly the flag, but they don't have somebody to talk about it. They don't know, bounce ideas off, and really to sort of sense check what they're trying to do. So that's really what it's come out of. We're launching that this week, and we've had a really positive reaction to that. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm really positive about it, and I know that it's going to be really beneficial for our members.
Yeah, that's really, really exciting. And yeah, watch this space, everyone. I'm sure we'll follow that in due course. That's wonderful. And yeah, Ash, from you as well, is there anything that agents maybe need to know about, or anything you've got kind of coming up on the wave of change, or sort of sustainability initiatives that maybe has been worked on or something in the future? Or?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we launched our new 7 focus areas, if you like, in our Wave of Change movement, and bringing all of the different action lines together. So we'll be doing more on that and kind of spreading the word about that, and coming up with some really nice new videos and ways that the agents can communicate that to their customers as well. So we're supporting you guys in whichever way we can. Let us know what you need. If you ever want trainings or more content, just let us know. We're really happy to help you guys spread that word and be confident in doing it. That's what I always say, because I remember when I first started talking about this, it was really nerve-wracking. It still is, because there's a lot of information and you don't want to get it wrong. It's not it's not a subject that you can get wrong, really. So it can be quite daunting to first start talking about it and communicating it with the customers. So lean on us to do that, like I said earlier. And one new action line, which I did just want to mention, I think the agents will love it, is we just opened our new property in Aruba last year. And this is quite a new project for us as well. We've opened a Shoko sanctuary, which is the beloved owl species on the island of Aruba. Quite endangered species. So we've opened a sanctuary there for them. So that's something new, and we'll be talking a bit more. Yeah, that's just one of the action lines, one of the projects that we've got going on, but we'll be talking a bit more about that as well as many others.
Yeah, there's many feathers in the Iberostar cap, isn't there?
Really cute. I love that story.
And it goes to show just the broad range of sustainability work, isn't it? It's not just one thing; it's many things, which I think is a really lovely way to end. Both thank you, Megan, thank you, Ash, for your expert insights. And yes, as I said, you can find out more about Iberostar and everything that they have on during the training session, which is on Friday morning. So make sure you tune into that. And yeah, we will be back for day 3 of the festival tomorrow at 2 p.m, where we'll be talking about responsible wildlife experiences and creative ways to talk about sustainability with your customers. So following on from some of the conversations that we've had this morning. Thank you everyone for joining us. It's wonderful to see so many of you here and so many lovely comments and questions. And yeah, thank you very much again to Megan and Ash. Thanks guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.